And welcome back, fellow gamers of the world. Today we are playing Khazrak the One-Eye, who leads the war host of the One-Eye. We're doing a Let's Play series of Khazrak the One-Eye because it was requested by the community. So I hope you enjoy the way that I play this playthrough. So, the first thing I like to do with Khazrak the One-Eye is I like to take his Grey Shaman of Death and put it in his army. Reason being is we gain a little bit more combat power, and we get, right here, we get the skill Spirit Leech once we're doing this battle for the ambush attack, which can really severely affect their lord here. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over Rewards of Dread. So what are Rewards of Dread? So Rewards of Dread are basically a mechanic that when you gain Dread, you can also gain your capacity to have more of these units, which means that the more Dread you can gain, the more amount of better units that you can have. And then there's also March of Ruination, which also comes into play when you raise your Herdstone, which will show that in a little bit here. So once you raise your Herdstone, you can also get even better units. So the cool thing about Dread too is that you can actually confederate the other Beastmen Lords with Dread, and also you can also recruit the heroes and shamans that you need for your armies with also Dread. So as you can see, Beastmen's one of their most important resources here is Dread. So our upgrades are also costing Dread, which means that once you get enough Dread level, you can also basically raid Hearthstones at level 5, which is also amazing. Increase your hordes, increase your hero and lord ranks. Then you can also purchase items with gold instead of Dread here. So a lot of these items will be very important later on, but early game right now, it's not super important to have any of these. One could argue that you could get this one right here, the Cygor, right off the bat, which is super strong, but we don't need that right away. We can wait for later. So, one could ask, how do you get Dread? The way you get Dread is you get it from buildings, you get it from battles, you get it from forces with high beastal rage. So having high beastal rage, so the more you attack, the more rage you'll build, which means the more Dread you can acquire. Looting, sacking, raising settlements, and then mission and events. So you also lose Dread if you have forces with low beastal rage, and you can also gain rewards of Dread as well. Now there's also the Herdstone shards here. So Herdstone shards are basically so, for example, Lotharian Forest here. If we were to take Lotharian Forest, as you can see all these numbers on top of all these buildings here, if I were to put my Herdstone here, so we raise the city and raise the Herdstone here, if I attack all these settlements, I would get 4, 4, 4, 4, and 6, and 4. So your main goal here is, once you raise a Herdstone, is to try to accumulate as much points as you can on your Herdstone, so then you can get more Marks of Ruination. You want to at least try to get at least 25 points for your first Herdstone, just so you can unlock the Rewards of Dread units capacity and some other cool features. So, let's get into that. So, we have our Herdstone here, so we're going to be attacking this pretty soon here. And Challenge of the Dark God is their research, which right now, because we have no Herdstone, which is right here, we can't do any research. So your first most important task is to find somewhere to raise a Herdstone. Now what I like to do with the Beastmen is I like to check my diplomacy right off the bat, seeing who I'm at war with. So we're at war with Middleland, we're at war with Letharlorn, and then Reichland. Which Middleland makes sense because Boris Todbringer is Khazrak One-Eye's arch nemesis. Or, I guess, rival? So now let's look at the attitude of everyone around us. So, Middenberg, Nordland are the most likely ones to declare war on us. So we're going to probably go for them next and then save the Black Pit for last. Now let's see who's happy with us. So the Black Pit is the happiest with us. So we could potentially get an alliance with them, but look where they are. If we were to raise this, they're in our Herdstone, so we're not going to make allies with them. We'll probably make allies with Festus, who starts right here, once we can meet him. So, for this first battle, we're going to take Khazrak One-Eye, and we're going to attack Iskura here. So it says close victory. Let's look at the map. So the cool thing about the Beastmen is when they attack in ambush stance. Kind of like the, Warheart of the One-Eye does. Kind of like the Skaven. We have 50 winds of magic here. We only have Spirit Leech, so we're going to be using Spirit Leech on the Lord specifically. We're going to use our Minotaurs and our Cavs to take out the Way Watchers because Way Watchers are absolutely dangerous units. The Dryad and the Eternal Guard, not as much, but they're still pretty strong in their own right. So the one thing we don't want to charge our Minotaurs into is the Eternal Guard because they are anti-large, and the Minotaurs are a large unit as well as Razor Guard Chariots. So we're going to send them into the Way Watchers. Now, the Dryads are weak against armor, and they're damage dealers. So we're going to probably be sending the Beastigor herd to deal with the Dryads. So let's get into it. Let's fight the battle. So now that we are in the battle, we're going to put everything in groups. So if you click on them and press G, you can put them in their groups. And then if you hit Shift, you can select 2 and then hit G to select everything like this. Another cool feature on the Beastmen here is that they have stock. So we can surprise the enemies. One thing to note is you saw that before we started this battle, there was Way Watchers. Where are they here? They also have stock, and usually the AI always puts their archers and artillery and cav usually in the back. So we're going to assume that the Way Watchers are right here. So what that means is what we want to do is put our cavalry, or our chariots I should say, and our Minotaurs right here to smash them on both sides. Now what we're going to do is take our Lord, since he is a very strong melee fighter, and our Spirit Leecher right here, and we're going to put them in the front to go deal with their Lord. Next, their Dryads are in the front and they're weak against armor. So what we're going to do is take our most armored unit and put that in the front to deal with the Dryads, because they are weak against armor. What this will do is make them less effective towards our armored unit here. Next, let's grab our Axe Infantry, and we're going to put them to go deal with the, Eternal Guard here, so that we can do some good damage to them with our Primal Fury trait, where we get charge bonus and melee attack. Now let's grab our Chafe units here. So these are basically the cheapest units you can get. They're core leadership expendable. We're just going to put them on this side, because what we're going to do is we're just going to send them in. All we're going to do is send them straight into the battle, up against the Dryads, up against the Eternal Guard. They're basically just there to take the damage. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put one of the Ungor Horde on this side and one on this side to help getting those Way Watchers out of the battlefield, because the Way Watchers are the biggest threat to us at the moment, because of their armor-piercing missiles and everything that they have to offer to counter us currently. Now, we're also going to put our archers right here to do some damage on the Dryads, or not the Dryads, sorry, the Eternal Guard, because what we're going to try to do is have them face this way so we can attack them there. I mean, we could go against the Dryads, but they are a forest spirit, so they can usually, you know, kind of shrug off most mundane attacks. But we'll see basically what we're going to do with these archers is see which side needs the most help, and we're going to target it there. So now that we got everything planned here, let's hit start battle, and let's send these into the Dryads. Let's get our units into the Way Watchers here, because they're going to be a huge threat to us. Look how much damage they did with just one volley. Absolutely nuts. Have these guys go deal with the Lord. We're going to press this. We're going to do Alt 1. Because anything Alt 1 through 6 on this side you can actually use without having to click on it, which saves time. And we're going to have our Lords also go after their Lord here. Now we're going to have these guys come into the battle here. Let's check. Where is our Razor Guard Chariots? We're going to have them come out now. Looks like they're a little bit stuck, which is fine. Our Minotaurs are making quick work of them. We're going to now send our other units here, let our Minotaurs do damage there. And the Beastigor Herd did take quite a bit of damage from the Dryads, but way less than if they were doing it the other way. With something else attacking. Now we're going to have the archers shoot the Eternal Guard. We're going to have our Minotaurs charge back in. We're also going to have the Beastigor, the Razor Guard Chariots charge back in too. And we're going to try to kill as much as we possibly can before the battle ends. The reason being is the Lord's experience is based off of the battle outcomes of a decisive victory, while the units gain more experience if they actually kill more. So our whole goal here is to kill as much as possible before the battle ends to gain as much experience as possible here. So now what we're going to do is have these guys go this way. We're going to have our Beastigar Horde head up here. We're going to have our Chariots go deal with these guys, as well as our Minotaurs here. Oh no, actually we're going to have our Minotaurs deal with them since they got away. We can have them attack there. Those should be easy to deal with. There we go. Our Razorgore Chariots are now heading forward. I do apologize if I pronounced something wrong. I'm not 100% foolproof on pronouncing everything in this game correctly. So now we're going to have these guys who are currently idle. We're going to have them move forward as well. Beastmen are actually surprisingly pretty decently fast, so they can catch up to most things. So we're going to have our archers shoot this now. We're going to have this blob here go for the blob way out here just to send them to do something. And now our archers are attacking this. We're attacking this over here. Our miniatures should make quick work of them. And now let's hit the fast forward button so we can speed this along. So as you can see, look at the Razor Horde Chariots right here. They're just going to put some major damage in right there. Look at that. Ooh. Oh, I think they actually just finished them off. Okay, there's one unit left. And boom, they're dead. We're going to have them head that way. It looks like one did get away, but we still got decent amount of XP from the battle that we just fought here. And it looks like there might be... Okay, there is one more Eternal Guard right here. Duking it out. In the midst of a bunch of just beastmen right there, the Gore Herd. It looks like they're not attacking him for some reason, so we're going to actually move. There we go. And we're going to end the battle. Please let me know in the comments below if you think that there was something that you would have done different to do more damage or do something more effectively in this battle. So, our thought process here is, how much damage did we sustain? So our major key player units, including our Lord, didn't take that much damage, and this is on Legendary very hard. So any difficulty easier than that, you should take less casualties using this strategy. Or less damage. We only lost 62 units. That is not bad. We got a lot. So sending the Beastcore Herd into the Dryads was ideal because they can't, pierce the armor, so they got more kills. Then the Dryads got kills on them. And then using the Ungor Spearmen as basically a chafe unit to basically bog things down was not a bad idea either because, surprise, surprise, Beastmen have 0 upkeep for their units, which I forgot to mention earlier. So, honestly, with Beastmen, if something dies, it's not the end of the world, but you still want to take as least amount of casualties as possible. Now, let's look at our Beastal Rage. So, in your Beastal Rage, you can gain Amassing Beastal Rage, so it increases your growth. It gives you certain things to make you stronger. So in this one, you gain growth, and as you go up, you gain more things to gain growth, which then makes you stronger. And then the top one here, I can't remember what it does, but we'll show that later on as well. So what we could do to make the next battle easier is we could grab, since our Beastal Rage is at a pretty good spot right now, we could grab the Devour Captives, but keep in mind, you can basically go and camp and stance anywhere. So what we're actually going to do, we're going to grab the money. Just so we have more income. We killed them. Now let's go spend our skill point. Let's look at our tree here. So, I usually like to go down the blue line unless there's a specific lord that has really strong magic that can help you early game. So, to be honest with you, I'm going to go down Khazrak One-Eye's blue line here just so we can get Lightning Strike, because Lightning Strike will help you so many times. So, for example, if there was like 7 armies surrounding us, we could basically fight one at a time, which increases our chances of winning. Now, let's grab Spirit Leech for our hero here so we can do some more damage. Now, here's the cool part about Beastmen. Look at this. While hidden encampment. Immune to most attrition, ambush success chance plus 15%. Hidden until discovered. So basically, you can go anywhere and just be invisible. Let's grab some of the Ungor Spearmen because with Khazrak One-Eye, you get anything that's Ungor poison attacks. So even weak units gain poison attacks, which means over time they can do attrition damage. So, Let's go into Khazrak One-Eye's tree here. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the heads on spikes and we gain dread each turn. As we talked about earlier, dread is a very important resource for the Beastmen. And now, before we end our turn, I always like to check my diplomacy just to see what's possible. And it looks like no one wants to be our friend. So if you guys don't know what Quick Deal is, if you click on it, it basically lets you know if someone's going to be willing to trade with you, become your friend, you know, make an alliance, who's at war with you, who's willing to make peace, and so on and so forth. So, now is time to end our turn. This is the end of turn 1. Now that we're on turn 2, we're going to spend the next skill point that we gained while waiting over the turn. And we are going to grab income from raiding, income from raising settlements, blessed evil. So it is honestly dealer's choice for this. But since we basically don't suffer that much attrition, and we can basically casually replenish it really quickly in our hidden stances, I'm not too worried about this at all. Ruination. Attrition suffered by defender plus 5% when laying siege or encircling. This would actually be really strong, but we don't really need that either right now, so we're not going to focus on that either. Blessed by evil. This actually might be really nice because post-battle loot plus 15%, and then we also gain a chance of stealing a magic item plus 30%. Fun fact, if you kill a lord in battle, you actually have a chance to get magic items as well, beyond the stealing a magic item chance. Now, feasting upon man, we can gain some more income from raiding and raising settlements. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to get a better magic item, and we're going to get that post loot. So now here's the fun part. We are going to have to siege Lithurian Forest, so we're going to have to attack Wood Elves in their home territory. The reason why you want to do this on turn 2 right away is because, look, they are mustering more troops. Which, if they have any more troops in the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to our 14, we have numbers advantage right now. And if they get more, it's going to be a lot harder for us to attack this later. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in ambush stance. We're going to attack the forest, and we're going to play the battle. So as you can see, it says close defeat, which means that there is a chance to win this. And keep in mind, this is on legendary, very hard. So anything easier difficulty can be a lot easier than this. So now weapon strength and missile strength. So I want to put the weapon strength actually on the Minotaurs just to do some more damage so we can have them rampage throughout the settlement. And now let's look at the settlement. Honestly, I really enjoy the Wood Elf settlements. They're very pretty and they work very well for the Wood Elves. So let's see here. Looking at every battle, what I like to do is look at the map and see, kind of get a rough idea where I'm going to be positioning my troops. So I think going down the middle is going to be the best avenue because then we can attack left and then right as well. Now we're probably going to station some units here to back up this side. I don't think we're going to station any units here because it's just so far away from here. I would rather just support the middle. We're probably going to put our cav in the back. So let's play this battle. So now let's look at the battlefield here. The Wood Elves have a minor supply location right here and a minor supply location right here with a key building location here. So if I had to guess, they are going to build barricades here and they're going to build barricades somewhere over here, which means our best course of action, because there's no spot for a barricade here, is definitely going down the center like I mentioned earlier. So we're going to hit start deployment now that we have an idea of what the battlefield looks like. We're going to start placing our heroes in the front here so we can get into the battle quicker before the Wood Elves can use their arrows on us. So since I don't know where they're going to position their troops, we're going to put the stronger units on the side so they don't get hit with the arrows first. We're going to put our shielded units in the front so they get hit with the arrows first. Then we're going to put our next set of shielded units in the back so they also get hit with the arrows second. Now we're going to put our archers back further so they don't shoot our archers so we can use our archers against them. Now we're going to take our crappy spearmen over here. We're going to put them right here so it kind of makes their forces kind of split up a little bit for us. Then we're going to take our cav and we're going to put it here. And we're actually going to rotate it around this way once the battle starts. The reason why I'm not putting them right here is because then they will put archers right here most likely to shoot it this way. If we go this way and come around, we can hit them from the backside. Well, these are charging the front. And the cheeky Minotaurs that are going to be rampaging, we're going to put in the forest here so that they put actually less here to protect over here because they're going to recognize that these are bad units. Then we can charge these in to help. So let's start the battle here. So we have our units all over here. So we're actually going to send these guys here. We're going to send them into the Way Watchers. We're going to send these guys over here. We're going to send these into over here. We're going to have our stronger units get into battle as well. We're going to have these units get into battle here too. Now we're going to take Khazrak One-Eye and we're going to charge him into battle as well. We're going to take our archers and we're actually going to shoot the Way Watchers with our archers. We're going to take our Spirit Leech hero and we're going to put them in the trees up here. And now we're going to take our Razor Guard herd and we're actually going to bring them around to go attack that. So now let's go over here. What can we do here? We're going to have all these charge here. And then we're going to have our Minotaur charge in that as well. And we should be able to break it pretty easily here. Let's have these guys charge here. We have our archers charging in there as well. And now Spirit Leech. How far can we cast Spirit Leech? We're going to cast Spirit Leech on their Lord. And it looks like the Ungor herd here is taking quite a bit of damage. Let's go help them out here. Once we get the Beastigor herd over here, we're going to position them the other direction. Now that we cast Spirit Leech, let's get these guys in the battle. Let's keep casting on the Way Watchers here, and let's get into melee combat here. So the cool thing about the Beastmen is if you lose units, don't worry about it, because they can instantly get units back the next turn. Now we got our Minotaurs charging into battle too here. We're going to have these guys get into... We're going to have one of these go capture this point here. We're going to have our Minotaurs charge around here and charge into the Blade Guard here. Archers are now attacking the Way Watchers, so they're not getting very much value. Let's see how much value they've gotten. So the Way Watchers here have gotten only 14 kills. So they're not gaining their value. Now let's send our Beastigor herd into the Eternal Guard and our Ungard herd in too, so we can pincer them in. And we're going to have our Razor Guard chariots deal damage to the archers in the back here, so they can't defend themselves. There we go. We have them going over there. We're going to have these guys attack the wall here. Our Minotaurs are going to attack them from the backside. And now let's grab our Bray Shaman here, and we're going to use it on their Lord again. Our whole goal here is to hopefully make the Lord break. We're going to send our Razor Guard chariots in once more. Now that we're blobbed up in the trees too, they won't be able to do as much damage. So let's start attacking the War Dancers. The War Dancers are also one of the biggest threats on this battlefield. And we're going to be able to get pock shots right into the back of them right here. These units are absolutely deadly, so you must be very careful with them. So what we're going to do is we're going to send the... Actually, this is pretty good right now. Let's go check out our cav here. We're actually going to send them back before they get into the melee with the Spearmen, because Spearmen will not be a good target for the Razor Guard chariots here. We're going to wait for our Spirit Link to be able to get 8 wins here, so we can do some more on the Lord. Charge these guys back into battle here. We're going to have the Minotaurs now charge this direction to go break that open so we can attack there. And we're going to have these guys charge right there. We're going to have these charge right here. And look at this. We're going to be capturing this point, which will also significantly weaken their power on the battlefield. Now, the name of the game here is we're going to be attacking these with the Eternal Guard. Or we're going to be attacking these. The Eternal Guard with the Unger Spearman herd here. We're going to bring these upwards, so we're going to bring them around, the Razor Guard herd around these Spearmen. So we're going to bog them down so we can get into the Blade Guard. And now we're going to have these, since we took the point, now we can just charge straight in here. We're going to start helping bring down the rest of the map here. And this actually is capped. Actually, after this cast, we should be able to get maybe some losses on their side. Maybe break them. Their leadership is still pretty strong, so we may have to cast a few more wins here. Now let's get our archer over here and ready for battle over here. Let's get our Razor Guard herd into the battle here. Let's watch them go rip and tear over here. Let's make this cinematic too. So they're charging in right here. Look how beautiful this is going to be. Ooh, baby. That was a lot less exciting than I thought it would be, but it is what it is. Now we're going to be sending our units in to attack the rest of the army here. And now they have army loss penalties, and we have won. So this is a valid strategy for you to use in your Khazrak the One-Eye campaign, especially up against a very strong enemy like the Wood Elves. So what we're going to do is what we did before, is try to finish off the enemy so we can get more kills. So we're actually going to send these guys into there to get more kills. Send them into here so we can get more kills. We're going to use our Spirit Leecher to then use it on the Lord as well, so we can potentially kill the Lord. The Minotaurs here are going to be chasing down the Eternal Guard there, and we're going to have these guys charge forward up here. Actually, we're going to have them go charge over here to get some kills here. Now, let's see. There's a big blob here. We're going to have this blob kill there, and we're going to fast forward the battle here. Hopefully getting as much kills as possible with our units to gain some more XP. And it looks like they're going to be able to smash through here. Kind of delay them a little bit to get a few extra kills. Oh, wow. More than a few extra kills. Look at that. It's just constantly climbing up there. We might be able to use this against the next enemy right there. So let's go use this on them right here. And let's send these guys out to go help with this. Use Spirit Link on this Lord here. Have them attack, and we should be able to get some decent casualties on their side even more here. The Razor Guard Herd is doing what it does best, and just absolutely just trucking things. Look at that. Oh my goodness. 241 kills. We're going to have these units over here attack these guys. Have our archers attack these guys. Oh, and... okay, Razor Guard Chariots. I see bloodthirsty there. Nice. And there you have it. We have now taken the Wood Elf Forest as our own. And here's the cool thing about Beastmen. If you lose a little bit, like we did, so we lost 402, it doesn't matter because they caught their free cost. So what we can do is either have them replenished, which they'll be able to do pretty nicely, or what we can do is recruit more units and keep having them replenished, or we can kick them out and combine units. But I think what we're going to do is leave them for now, and we're going to just recruit more units. Our Minotaurs actually didn't get as much damage as I thought. The MVPs here were these Ungor, I think it's Raiders is what they're called. They got 169 kills on the Way Watchers, which is absolutely amazing. Or 177. The Chariots are also the MVPs here. And the Bray Shaman of Death did some really good damage with the Spirit Leech on the boss there. I highly recommend for any, basically like Dowie or anything that's like has like really strong single entity lords, death magic, because it can really, really bog them down with a lot of damage with their magic of death. Okay, so we got 83, and now here's the cool part. Remember that stone up here that we have? Well, now we're raising a herdstone here. So the way the Beastmans work is if once you raise your herdstone, you don't have any herdstone shards. So at all costs, you need to protect this in order, and we need to do as much damage as possible. So if I click on the forest, as you can see, this is the grounds of the herdstone that we explained earlier. We want to do as much damage as possible to gain as much ruin as possible, to gain as much runation as possible. So what that means is we want to raise and sack all these raise all of these buildings and kill as many armies in this blood grounds as possible to bring this number up as high as possible. So what I'm going to do is something a little sneaky deaky, is we're going to give ourselves power reserve, and we're going to provide ourselves with line of sight over the entire blood grounds so we can see what our next enemy, Boris Toddbringer, is doing in the territory. Because what we're going to be doing is avoiding him entirely until we can finally deal with him. So let's spend our skill points. We're going to be doing Blessed by Evil again, so we can potentially get more magic items. Now with our Bray Shaman here, we're going to be upgrading Spirit Leech and Life Leeching. What Life Leeching does is it triggers when casting, you gain more reserves, which is really strong, so you can cast more Spirit Leech. And now we're going to recruit 4 Ungor Raiders, so we have a little bit more Rangers for these battles coming ahead. Now that we raised our herdstone, as we mentioned earlier, now we can actually grab our research, which is very important for the Beastmen. And we're going to be grabbing next is Worldbane. The reason being is that it gains us more fighting weapon strength against dwarves, high elves, wood elves, dark elves, and men, which will be really strong in the coming battles ahead. So now that this is the end of turn 2, and we're currently setting our sights on Middelheim next. The faction itself, not the city.